What's going on, everyone? So I talked about Jaxson Hayes over on As It Stands Lakers, talked about how teams are, based on reports, are going to try to pry Jaxson Hayes away, that he should have some suitors in the offseason. I mean, he's been playing great basketball. He's still very young, right? I could see a team or two or several being more than happy to take him on, especially to get him off the Lakers, make the Lakers have to figure out their center position even more than already. But what I wanted to kind of talk about and highlight more, and of course, I want to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions down in the comments, is kind of Jaxson Hayes as a long-term answer, right? He is getting more and more comfortable in his role, right? He is developing more and more chemistry with Luka. Was injured, comes back, doesn't even miss a beat, right back in action, and was fantastic. And I do think a lot of it is Luka, right? The attention that he draws. He loves that outlet pass. He loves that dunker spot guy because he's getting in the teeth of the defense. He's creating dribble penetration. He's collapsing the defense, and obviously kick out shooters, but also to have that lob threat. And you see the gravity that causes. Great example was that Phoenix game, right? Jaxson Hayes just being near the rim caused the defense to step back a little bit, which kept leaving the corner open, right? And you saw guys like Gabe Vincent and Dorian Finney-Smith and all these guys just getting wide open corner looks because they're so worried about the lob to Jaxson Hayes because that's a free bucket rather than we'll take our chance one of these guys missing a three, right? So you just open up the floor so much more by having a guy like a Jaxson Hayes out there on the court, floor running, high flying, right? I still personally not a fan of him as your starting center this year. Obviously, I don't want to sell Jaxson Hayes short. He has been fantastic and has played the role that we need him to play beautifully, right? He has done about as good of a job as you can ask for a guy that just kind of got thrusted into this and needed to play a big role. But I do think teams are going to try to pry him away from the Lakers for one. I don't think it'll be that easy, though. One, he's always wanted to play with Luka. He's made that abundantly clear, right? He even said after every game, I talked to Luka and said, hey, if you ever need a center, let me know, right? And supposedly Dallas several times, according to Jaxson Hayes, several times tried to trade for him when he was on the Pelicans, right? So he loves Luka. Luka is making him look like an all-star, right? On top of that, I still think he's going to get paid even by the Lakers. Maybe not to the level that these other teams would, but I also think he would take a bit of a discount. I don't think, if a team's offering him $15 million, I don't think he'll take 8, right? But I do think like if a team's offering him 10, he would take 8 or 7 or something like that, right? Team's offering him 8, maybe he'll take 6 to stay with the Lakers, right? I do think that. I also think it'll depend on opportunity and role, right? Like if he's the third big on the Lakers, but he gets the opportunity to start on another team, I think he goes and takes the opportunity to start on another team, as he should. But he should also be mindful and keep in mind that, you want to go to the right situation, right? Like I think of a team like the Clippers with James Harden, a guy, a playmaker that can use him as an outlet, right? Or Cade Cunningham on Detroit, right? Again, a guy that can use him as an outlet. I don't think he works on just any team because he needs that outlet, that guy that's looking for him as the outlet, right? Maybe even a team like the Spurs with like Chris Paul and De'Aaron Fox, right? Having that outlet, having that guy where De'Aaron Fox can get teeth of the defense and have that lob threat that he could just throw it to, right? Like something like that I could see. I also think a lot of teams are going to take into account that, hey, he looks as good as he does because of Luka. Right? Like Daniel Gafford. No one's talking about Daniel Gafford. Like Daniel Gafford was looked at as like, hey, he's a good serviceable center, solid backup, if that, right? But not anything to write home about. And Luka made him look like an all-star, right? Because again, Luka, particularly centers, he elevates if they're the right center because again, he's constantly looking for that. He's constantly keeping an eye out for that lob threat, that big man that he can get the ball to. So I do think that keeping a guy like Jaxson Hayes, I do think is important for the long term. I would love to keep Jaxson, even before Luka became a Laker. I talked about how I would love to have Jaxson Hayes as a Laker for the long haul, continue to grow and develop him. I don't know about the starter, though. I would, if we keep Jaxson Hayes, still like to look for that true starting caliber center. But I also don't hate the idea of having, if you can, right, find a center where Hayes can maybe even play alongside at times, right? So somebody like, let's say, a Miles Turner, because of his ability to stretch the floor, right? You could do some creative looks where on offense, Hayes is still in that dunker spot as the lob threat, Miles Turner spreading out as a 3-point shooter, and then on defense, Hayes can kind of patrol, be in that help free safety role, and then have like a Miles Turner as your shot blocker at the rim, and then Hayes can even be the help defender. You kind of go two bigs at times. Right? I do think that there is some flexibility there, depending on, again, the center you get and things like that. But as far as Hayes being the long-term starter option, that I don't think he's ready yet, right? Things can change, right? Even by the end of the season, things could change, right? I mean, if he continues to grow and develop, and I mean, if he becomes a legit, not even like a 20-7 guy or whatever, like if he can be a, nightly 15 and, not an 8 guy or something like that, or 15-7 guy, right? And just being better disciplined defensively and getting more comfortable in his role, and because he's a guy that understands his role, he knows what is needed in his role. He's embracing that role and he's doing it very well. If he can continue to kind of evolve and continue to build and develop that chemistry with Luka, right? To me, he just needs to get a little better disciplined on the defensive side of things. If he can kind of sew that up a little better as the season progresses, then maybe my opinion will change. But as it stands, no pun intended, right? Like, I do think that Hayes is great long-term as like your primary backup, right? Like if you wanted to go and get, a Walker Kessler in the offseason, right? Let's say they're able to go pull off that trade to make that happen. Perfect. Jaxson Hayes is your backup. Beautiful. Let's go. Let's go try to win a championship. Or again, like a Miles Turner and then Jaxson Hayes as your backup. Beautiful. Let's go. Let's try to go win a championship. But if you told me in the offseason, like, Hayes and Koloko are two centers, or say we go get a Day'Ron Sharp, but it's like Hayes and Day'Ron, I kind of am like, I still would prefer a better center personally. Again, it's nothing against Jaxson Hayes. He has been fantastic in the role he's played. He's really emerged and evolved into that, and he deserves all the credit in the world. I just don't think he's there as far as what you want for your starting center on a true contender, on a real contending team. But that's my opinion. As always, pass a question on you. Let me know yours down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think Jaxson Hayes is a long-term answer? Do you think absolutely not? Kind of mixed in the middle? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are. Either way, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.